Mike Flanagan. This is called The Life of Chuck, which stars a whole bunch of people. Peter, do you want to go ahead and go to the letterbox description for the synopsis?
Yeah, I'm doing it. The Life of Chuck, directed by Mike Flanagan. Every life is a universe all its own. In this extraordinary story of an ordinary man, Charles Chuck Krantz experiences the wonder of love, the heartbreak of loss, and the multitudes contained in all of us. Starring Tom Hiddleston, Jacob Tremblay, and Benjamin Payak. And then other people. Okay. So, but those are Chucks.
So this is a movie that all of us have seen, okay?
Oh, we all have seen. Okay.
Yes, we've all have seen this movie, and which is why I can excuse David having to go see a live action remake because he went to go and watch
I can't.
all these other movies.
I do not forgive, and I never forget.
I mean, I will continue to praise David's hilarious decision to eliminate the Banshees of Inisherin from his top 10 to put in Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris because he knows quality and he has taste. So.
God, motherfucker.
So, okay. I think that's a decision that has not at all been forgotten, as well as a decision to do a top 10 anymore because I guess we're not doing those ever again. Anyway, as far as this movie
that is
not
true.
And Mike Flanagan, all of us are just like, look, we love his work. I mean, Mike Flanagan has made some of, I think, the most riveting storytelling of the last 10 years. And it's really hard to pick a favorite. Like, I think to me, it's like, I mean, there's Hill House, there's Doctor Sleep, there's Midnight Mass, there's the Fall of the House of Usher. It's just, there's Oculus, just a lot of things you can go with. But here's Mike Flanagan back with yet another Stephen King adaptation of something that is not quite known as, horror. And we were all a bit disheartened to see that it was, it was purchased, but then it didn't really come out last year. It wasn't a player. And then they purchased it for what? I don't know, because they dumped it here and no one's really paying any attention to it. So that's just kind of where we are with that movie, unfortunately. So it'll never be heard from again. But those of us who love the history and the canon of Mike Flanagan are not going to forget this one, because I do think, as I have been thinking about this movie the past week, I honestly do feel it's pretty great, as most things are with Mike Flanagan. I will say that I enjoy thinking about this movie more so than I would enjoy watching it again. When I sat down and watched it, I wasn't quite sure what I was in for, but I wasn't enjoying what I was watching initially because it really was like all of my worst fears put into a movie. You had the end of the world, you had earthquakes, you had cancer, you had death. And I know that usually happens as far as like death is concerned. That's a lot of Flanagan's things. But like this was like the first part of the movie was so overbearing for me that, and be rest assured that when the first act or third act is happening, it didn't fully click until the very end of the movie what that all was supposed to be. So I took it quite literally and it was quite traumatizing. And it was so overbearing to the point that when we got to the second act, which everybody points to as their favorite because of the dance sequence, I couldn't be bothered to care at all. I was like reeling from that first part that I couldn't enjoy any of it. I didn't really start enjoying myself until the third part of the movie, and that's where it kind of like, okay, turned it around. But I wasn't enjoying watching it, and I wasn't enjoying thinking about it for a long time after I watched it. That being said, great movie. Basically 10 out of 10. No, I was talking about this movie with David recently, and this is actually a really good piece of work, especially how it was structured, how it was composed, and ultimately what it's trying to say. I do wish I could call this one of those movies that I would watch again and again. And I think I think I just needed to be more prepared for it because it felt just a bit too much initially. But I love the cast. As always, with anything written by Mike Flanagan, I enjoyed all of the conversations that were being said. And I do think what it was going for was quite clever. And I will say, for many people out there who are saying that this wasn't a horror film, not to me. I was quite horrified of the many things that were happening throughout. And I think in the first act, or third act, if you want to call it in particular, the one that was dominated with Juatel Ejiofor and Karen Gillan, I do think Mike Flanagan definitely brought a couple of his usual tricks in here to kind of like screw with the audience and screw with the characters, and I thought that was pretty horrific. So I think it had a little bit more horror in here than some people are giving it credit for. But I do really enjoy what it was saying.
Well, if you look at the advertising, you'd think it's a Hallmark film. Like it's
I haven't seen the marketing of the movie. It really is that way.
It's like, oh, light. It says like the most life affirming film since It's a Wonderful Life and stuff like that. And it's like it ain't that. It sure as hell ain't It's a Wonderful Life. I'll tell you that. It's I ultimately I think the message is beautiful that it tells, but
Yes.
it's fucking dark. Like I don't know how people can say they came out like so affirmed by life. It's like to a certain extent, yes, but to another extent, you know, fucking kill me. It's it's one of those kind of films, right? There's a real melancholy to it that for whatever people are kind of not focusing on. I don't know. I thought it was pretty big within the film. David, did it make you hate the film like Alexis hates it?
No, I definitely did feel that like existential crisis in the beginning, but I quickly
5 minutes in, I wanted to walk out. Like I told you,
Yeah.
I was like, I was not prepared for what this was going to be, and I was like, this.
Well,
has
it's
all
not
of my
short.
words-
It hits you over the head with it.
Yeah,
I
for
was
sure. Especially with I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays Shaggy.
Oh yeah.
His moment, he had a great moment. But his
That
whole
was some
speech,
great acting from him. Yeah.
for sure. But his whole little speech was for sure like hitting me, like how it was for Alexis. But then I quickly got over it. Once we got to the second act, I'm like, okay, I just gotta wait. Maybe we'll get some answers as to what the fuck happened there. And I didn't figure it out till like the day after. I mean, no, well, maybe not the day after. Maybe like a couple hours after watching.
After seeing the movie,
Yeah, that was because I wasn't really thinking
Really?
about it much. The third act as to what
I feel like
exactly-
it's explained even in the first act.
Well, to be fair, I didn't really get it until you asked me about a few minutes later because we had lunch after in which
Mhm.
you were trying to argue with me about what was the best place to sit.
Oh,
So
oh my
that-
god! You know, can I tell you something? We get to the bar, right? Beautiful seating arrangement at the bar. Perfect view outside. There's a window outside. You feel the air. Alexis goes and sit down. I sit down next to him. I'm like, all right, this is perfect. The second I sit down, he stands up and walks to the other side of the bar,
That's false. I sat right next to
expecting
you.
me to
I
just
happened
follow
to Be
him.
on a high top.
I'm
You
seated.
happen to be on a normal.
I'm ready to
seat.
eat.
We were sitting right next to each other. We were conversing the entire time. I moved because I enjoy the high top more, and the view was much better than a view
It was
of a
not.
wall.
It was not. So we had to have our entire meal at separate seating areas because
Yeah.
he was playing games.
That's not really at all what happened. But the point is, when he asked me, I was still like, I guess it did click, but I didn't really, I think, realize it until I was like saying it out loud. when I realized, like, because you asked me, you got what was going on, right? That's what you asked in the computer, and I'm like, oh, okay, it was in his head. Oh yeah, I didn't really click until like a few minutes after watching the movie.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't really thinking much of the third act. When after watching the movie, I was mostly like replaying the first two acts, or first two / second and third acts of the movie. And it wasn't until I can't remember if it was just a couple hours later or if it was the next day that I was finally thinking about, like, hey, wait, what the fuck happened in that third act in the beginning? Like, what was going on? And then that's when I started putting the pieces together. I'm like, oh, okay, it was all in his head, and it was actually fun thinking back.
This is his mind basically dying.
Yeah,
it's. I don't think it's what he's literally imagining. I think it's more of just like metaphorically what is happening.
Yeah, metaphorically.
You know what I mean? Like.
But you could also say
within this person contains, like they say, multitudes, an entire universe, and as this person dies, that universe dies. And it's sort of taking this idea of like this one random person, this death. It feels like nothing to a lot of people, right? It's one person out of 8 billion, entire world, entire universe. But it's saying it's mostly just saying like, no, that person's loss has very real meaning. Within them, it's showing you the importance of the loss of this one person through this idea of like the death of a universe. That's to me, I was like, okay, got it. Just because to me, it like fully clicked when Nebula, I forgot her name. Nebula walks in. Karen Gillan walks into work, and every monitor is showing the same. What do you call it? Heartbeat, right? Every monitor is showing the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh, like that's his heartbeat. Like he's on life support, like he's going. And that's when it clicked. It's like, oh, that's what this is. Like that's why everywhere where it's saying like, Charles Krantz, 39 great years. It's like, oh, and then also at the end of that third act where the wife literally says, 39 great years as he passes away. Like they say the exact words on the billboard to him as he dies. It's like, got it.
Yeah. I was just kind of seeing it as all the people that we see are just like individuals of him in like parts, because I found it interesting how
well, that's how every person is, right? Every person is made up of the thousands of small interactions and connections they make throughout their life.
Yeah, because
everyone is born Play-Doh and is slowly morphed by the universe.
I found it interesting how that one dude who was like in charge of the funeral, he was in Captain America.
Oh, Carl Lumley.
Yeah, him. How he told that story of what was it? It's like people think there's what was it? How many hours in a day? Was that what it is? Or
yeah, how many seconds, minutes in a day, or something? How long a day is?
Yeah, it was like 24 hours something seconds, and that he did the math that calculated that it's been going long. It's longer now. It's like, no, I remember now. It was like 23 hours and some seconds, but now it's gone over 24 hours and some seconds. That bit of information he gets from Mark Hamill's from his grandpa, Mark Hamill's character, but how did he figure out the 20?
Which they get from the TV.
Yeah.
They get from the TV, and Carl Sagan, real person Carl Sagan, is saying that.
I just realized we've been watching a lot of movies with some Carl Sagan
yes,
voiceovers and inclusions.
But
that's the weird thing. I didn't put that together myself. Like I messaged David yesterday that I just realized that the voice in Elio that we hear twice is
it's Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan, who they show a video of him in Life of Chuck, and I'm like, what? You can't make this shit up. It's like, is he trying to contact from the dead?
The one before they did the whole monologue, because I'm a fan of Carl Sagan, I'd known this whole thing of like the cosmic calendar, right? I'd heard it many times of this idea of like
Well,
when humans emerged versus where we are now is like such a tiny blip on all of existence, right? He was big on talking about just how small, not in a negative way, but in a genuinely interesting, almost life affirming way, that we all are. Like that, I don't know if you've ever seen that picture of Earth, the farthest away picture ever taken of Earth. And it's called, and he wrote something based on that picture called the pale blue dot or whatever. Cause you look at this just canvas of dark, and in the corner, there's like a little tiny dot of light, and that's Earth, right? I can't remember which satellite we sent that turned around and took a picture of Earth. And he
that wasn't
he has
the same
this
satellite that was in Elio, right? That I guess.
Oh, maybe it was. Honestly, maybe it was.
Right?
Yeah.
It is because like
I didn't see the beginning of Elio, so I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I forget we gotta say that. But like in the beginning, it does say that in the 1970s we sent a satellite into space that was basically a message for aliens, and Carl Sagan himself was involved in that in that project that sent the satellite into orbit. Which can we just pause? Is that smart for us to do? Should we be
at the time we thought so?
Should we be reaching out to other? I mean, if
our curiosity will never stop us, so it's inevitable. Our curiosity as a human species.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I just don't want them to hop on when we have, who as the president. That would not end well for anyone.
Yeah, that would be bad, but I mean,
I hope they would be smart enough to know that. But okay.
What's more terrifying, that we're alone in this universe or we're not alone? Pick your poison.
Let's not ask questions like that. Let's go ahead and go back to what we were talking about.
No, but yeah, he wrote called The Pale Blue Dot, and he's like, every war, everyone who's ever lived or loved or lost, anything that you ever thought of or experienced took place on that tiny pale blue dot. And he has like this whole essay and stuff. It's really good. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, Carl Sagan.
Is he like the Bob Ross?
But also, yeah,
science?
in the second one, the second act, that's when you also start to see people that are in the third act, just like in the background.
Well, the little girl, she does like
the little girl
skating motion that she does when she comes in.
The other nurse in their scrub, like they're wearing the exact thing that they wore in that third act. Also sort of implying like he's just sort of without even realizing it, right? Like kind of like scanned this people into his mind, right?
Mind, yeah.
And that's real though. Did you know that like every person you've ever imagined like in a dream has been a real person?
I mean, is that why I have
subconsciously
deja vu? People have deja vu because I feel like there are sometimes things happen out of nowhere, and I'm like, didn't I dream this exactly?
That's the Matrix.
Like right now? Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, but what I was bringing up is in the beginning with Carl Lumley, how he then later says there's actually 24 hours and some seconds going on now. For Mark Hamill's character, he only told them about the 23 hours one. Meaning that Chuck later on in life redo the math and make those calculations himself, and and that's him processing like the bad things in life. And I like what Carl Lumley says, where it's just like those few minutes of time. Yeah, those few minutes of time could have also affected what's been going on with the Earth and all that, and how like. Yes, we did our part in damaging the Earth, but whatever happens within the universe.
I think that whole scene is sort of meant to let the audience know, basically, to a certain extent, this isn't real, or it's not like a natural phenomenon. You know what I mean? Like there's something larger going on. Yeah, it's that first hint of it. Like this isn't just climate change. This isn't just some alien. Who fucking knows, right? Like there's something much larger at play.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, as the movie goes on, you realize, oh, like, that's what it is. Especially when you start to see, like, stars bop out of existence. Like,
No, yeah.
yeah, that's a man as his lights are going out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny. I took that literally, and I was horrified.
It's horrifying.
When that shit was
but that's
happening,
the
you know?
point. The loss of any one person should be horrifying.
Well, no, I mean, just if that was the way for the universe to all go out, I was like, oh shit. I mean, if that was played straight, I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what more there is to say. I just thought it was very well done, and I liked all of the actors. It was a nice reunion for all of Mike Flanagan's. You know, it was like a Where's Waldo, but with Mike Flanagan.
Oh, yeah, he had all the greats in there,
Mhm.
including himself.
Yeah, he was.
He was at the funeral. No, Mike Flanagan once again cements himself as like, yeah, I'll watch him do anything.
Mhm.
Like, I really love his films and his filmmaking and his specific storytelling style and abilities. I just dig it. I really do. This was a really good one. Again, it's not some feel good It's a Wonderful Life movie though. I don't know where people were pulling
And
that.
we recently
It's
watched It's a Wonderful Life in the theaters, which was a recommend,
yeah.
by the way.
incredible.
That was
film.
great. Yeah.
Wow.
It's as
Not-
horrifying as anything he's ever made. I'll put it that way.
That's what I felt too. I was like, oh God, I couldn't stop thinking about it fast enough for my own good. I will tell you that. Thankfully, though, you know, speaking of Wonderful Life, we did have a chance to see an older film on screen at that same day. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes. When watching that movie, what really maybe surprised me, or not surprised, but I was like, oh, the pace is like perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just moves. And maybe after seeing something like, what do you call it? The Life of Chuck, that's a little bit slower, you know, you can feel that. But I was like, oh my God, like the movie starts and I'm like, oh yeah, like we're just into that flashback, which has that perfect cut back to the present, which we're back to his personal life as a professor, right into like, we gotta go find the Grail
And
because your
effortlessly,
dad.
like setting up all timer set pieces after set piece. Like,
Yeah, it just moves, just perfect. And also, Spielberg, people talk about like that Spielberg look. I think what really sells his films, he loves to get the actor's expression. Indy doesn't talk much, but almost after every emotional beat, there is like these prolonged like close-ups on Indy's face where you see him, like his emotions of like responding to whatever's going on. That's one of the things I noticed too. It's like, oh yeah, like I never fully saw that, but that happens a lot where like some big like twist will drop and then boom, you know, close up on Indy as you see him sort of calculate what's going on and then on to the next scene. Perfect action, perfect film. It's the kind of movie why you go to the movies. Spielberg. Oh, and then speaking of, Spielberg just finished his next Alien movie.
yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Just like
Mhm.
it's gonna be interesting because we've heard very little still. It's already wrapped, and we
So,
still
yeah.
haven't heard much.
I hear it's a Super 8 sequel.
A what?
A Super 8 sequel.
Oh, well, then that would mean okay. Let's not do that.